On today's episode of Locked On Avalanche, let's get to some burning questions that might be following the Avalanche around in the offseason and even during next regular season. Let's talk about all of that. New episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. Thank you for tuning in and making it your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. If you want to get in on the conversation, then join our subtext. Link is in the show notes below. You chat with Kyle and I one-on-one. We get your opinion, everything Avalanche related, and we share it on this very podcast. We will dip into subtext world throughout the episode. Some of our subtext crew threw out some of these burning questions. So we're like, you know what? It's always good to do that because it feels like every year there's 3, 4, or 5 questions that just kind of like linger around all throughout the offseason. And then even when the season gets going, you still have those questions that just hang around. Last year, it was like the goaltending. You know, how long is can the goaltending hold up? Well, you got your answer to that, and the Avs made moves. Val Nichushkin was another one. You know what I mean? So you always have those questions going in. So there's a few here that we'll get to. Why not we dive right in? Why wait around and start at the top? Let's start with the big boy.
Why not?
And that's Jared Bednar. And although, you know, Chris McFarland, Joe Sakic came out and they were like, you know, he's our guy. And for them, I think it's that just shuts the door. The point is just moot for them. For the fan base, that now that it's out there, and they've been asking the question ever since the Avalanche season ended, the question of Jared Bednar and you know the leash, how long of a leash that he has is going to be there unfairly, if you ask me. And Vargar asked the question. And he asked it. Let me see. Let me see if I can bring it up here. It's not loading for me, but basically, like he agrees. He's like, I don't think that he threw McFarland in there too. I don't. If you want to talk about him, you can. But he said, how short are the leashes for Bednar and McFarland? I assume it's for the entirety of the 25-26 season and playoffs. I think the team will be much of the same, and I expect a similar result in next year's playoff. So I think he's right in, I really don't see it happening midseason unless they just completely fall on their face to start the season, which they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
But Bednar has shown he can pull them out of that. So like there's so much that has been thrown at him through his tenure with the Avalanche that I don't really feel like they would get rid of him mid-season. Unless you get to like February and you're not in a playoff spot or something like that. I don't see it happening.
You know, you say that, but I do see that being a possibility because I get the loyalty thing and years of service, and that's all wonderful and grand, but there is a lot of questions around this team. And if it's another one, because this team we've talked about a couple times, they had that whole month where it's like win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And if you see a lot of that same effort, because they talked about in the press conference, Sakic and McFarland, we just kind of unplugged at the wrong time. We ran out of gas. And if you start the season with that same lackadaisical effort, things not working, hey, the power play is still not working, and it's still atrocious because you spoke that narrative in a press conference and let that be a reason for Ray Bennett's firing. And if that same narrative continues to start next year and you're still dancing around in third, fourth, outside shot, you're coming up on the trade deadline, you don't know what, you still don't have an identity of this team, the fan base will get loud. And to Vargar's point, like, I'm kind of with you on the CMAC thing, but Bednar is going before CMAC.
If one goes, I think they both go. I don't. It'd be difficult for me to say like that. I just don't. I don't get the vibe. the vibes you got from that press conference were, it was very short of answering questions about Bednar. It's just like, no, he's 100% our guy. Let's move on. They didn't like belabor the point. They didn't go on about it and kind of give like, well, if this, then that kind of statement. Like, it was just, no, he's our guy. Now that can change. I'm not saying like that just sets everything in stone, but I think what's different about this year is like, I don't think they'll worry too much about the start. Do you want to get off to a good start? Clearly. Absolutely, you do. I don't think they're concerned if they do get off to a poor start, because look what he did this last year. I think where it's different is like how we were saying, like this team going into this year might be very similar to how the team ended after the trade deadline. You're gonna have a lot of those guys back, and McFarland and Bednar, or excuse me, McFarland and Sakic liked that team, liked that club. So if not a lot changes, and you go into this season with if you can sign Brock Nelson and he's there, who knows what goes on with Lindgren. Basically, if you have the pieces, like the foundation of what that team was to end the year, that those two guys liked. If Bednar struggles, I shouldn't say Bednar, if this team struggles, then they start looking at it like, hey man, this is pretty much the team that we gave you last year. But I don't anticipate that happening. Like if they come out and they have this team, that's a solid team. That is a playoff team. So I don't really see it happening, because I feel like he 49 guys he needed this year, and look what he did. So I think Jared Bednar is an excellent coach, and for a regular season, he gets a lot out of his players. So I don't see him just completely falling on his face, which would be really the first time during a regular season where he would do that, and then he's shown the door. So I'm with Vargar in that if it happens, depending on how the playoffs go next year, if they make the playoffs, that's when it happens. I just can't see a scenario where it happens during the season.
Well, I get what you're saying. Like, look what he did with the 49 substitutions, but like that's what the Avalanche always seem to do. And like going back and really looking at this as the playoffs are going on, like you go back and I hear you saying, look at what he did, but what did the Avalanche do? What is the story of the season? What did they do? They were floundering all year long, almost knocked out of the playoffs, were dancing on the bubble, fought to get third. What did they do? They got bounced in the first round.
Well, no, but separate regular season and postseason. Yeah, postseason, that's fair argument. Regular season, like they were 7th overall. That is good, Kyle. 7th overall is good. Like that's clearly that you're in the top 10 of the league. You're 7th in points. That's what they did. Like, and I think we've just become so accustomed to them being at the top of the division, and fighting for the top of the division. And the fact that they finished third, we're like saying like that's terrible, and that's not like, it's not where they wanted to be. And they did throw in the towel for like Nate and Kale and all those guys didn't play the last however many games of the season. So yeah, I mean that's an accomplishment. So it's not this incredible like President's Trophy type of team, but they still 7th is good.
But I hear what you're saying. Like I get it. But the team in 6th was the Los Angeles Kings, and they got bounced and are starting to clean house as well. The teams below them, Edmonton looking great, Carolina looking great, Florida looking great. Like,
well, that's where I said separate the regular season and the postseason.
Well, then,
postseason's a different argument, and you can have that conversation. Like, not acceptable, but you set yourself up with where you were in the standings and the team that you had to have a good postseason. You didn't do that. That's where you failed. You didn't fail in the regular season. As up and down as it was, and as inconsistent as it was, somehow, some way, with all the guys you used, you finished 7th overall in points.
What is that? For me. What, it doesn't get you much. Like,
I mean, it gets you in the playoffs.
It gets you right back out. Like, you had a lot of teams also get to the playoffs and are right back out. Like, are you saying we always say this team is a cup contender? Are they to be considered with the Carolina Hurricanes and the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights of the world? Or Are they going to be considered with the Blues and the Wild and all the teams that are in and out? Because, like, I get you're saying they made 7th. That's good, but that's not a Nashville Predator banner we're going to put up in Ball Arena. You made 7th.
No,
like
not trying to make it sound that it is, but I think we're just kind of we're I don't want to be like minimizing that, this team, it was a solid team.
But I don't want to make it a resume point either. It's not that substantial. Like if we were looking at Bednar's job in total and saying, what did you do this season? He said, well, I got 7th.
No, I don't think it would do that. Yeah, and I get what you're saying. I'm not trying to make it seem like, oh, because they finished 7th, like, this season was one of the best ones that they've ever had. No, like if they were the 15th or 16th team to get in, then we're saying like, hey, you got in by the skin of your teeth. They were comfortably in a playoff spot for pretty much the entire season. For really the entire season.
They really were. There were a portion they were on that wild card. They were on the wild card for a good month and a half.
Very early because of the start that they had.
And once that's what I'm going back to with the Bednar thing. Like that's what's going to come into play, because if you have another slow start and you have to do a lot of fixing and adjusting, like, is this what you want? Like, what is your narrative for the season? Like, there was not a defining thing. Like, yes, you've had individual records, but you didn't have, if we're doing the Sports Illustrated end of the year DVD, you subscribe for a year, you get your Colorado Avalanche 2024 DVD. What are you going to title it? What is this season? What was it?
What was their postseason hashtag? Built different.
Built different. Yeah,
it's just
sure. It was built different, but the result was the same.
Right. Yeah. I think, like I said, for next year, so last year that you got off to the slow start. Why? Goaltending. That's not the problem this year. So if you do get off to a slow start, like, what is the reason why? You shouldn't have a reason why, because this is the, in all likelihood, most of this team is coming back. You're going to have changes. I get that. So like, if the excuse, if you do get off to a slow start, if the excuse doesn't jive, then the questions are going to be brought up. But he's been there for so long. I think they're just going to give him time to correct it, as they've done in the past.
Well, that's my point. Like, you have Gabe Landeskog back. You have goaltending fixed. If you get off to a slow start with a bad power play, like, you can't keep excusing the things when the same person is there for all of this happening. And that's why I said that it could be a potential for an in-season conversation if it's another slow start that they can't recover from, because they've had to every year since 2022.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Like, if it's gotten to the point where they can't recover from it, maybe you see something if this is like a Predators thing, Predators from last year.
Yeah.
If that's how bad it gets, which again, I don't anticipate that happening. Like, Jared Bednar is a good coach. He gets a lot out of his guys. So I know we're all just kind of like trying to look into the glass ball and say like, oh, if this happens, I don't anticipate that happening, but hockey's a weird sport. Nobody thought it was going to happen to the Predators, and look what happened to them. And they're hanging on to their coach too. So the point is this, like with Valnichuskin last year, he was the talking point, and everyone is watching him all throughout the year. Fairly or unfairly, that's going to be on Jared Bednar this year.
Yep.
Like, that will be a question. And if the Avalanche are winning, it goes away. Those talks go away and those whispers go away. If they're struggling, even though he's shown he can combat that and come back from a bad month and follow it up with a really good month, even though he's proven that, it won't matter, because where he's at right now, where this team is at right now, the questions are just going to get louder and louder and louder.
Yep.
So again, I don't anticipate, I think how last year went, I think it'll kind of be similar to this year, and you get through the regular season pretty good. But now you are once again judged on the postseason. Got a long way to go before we get to that, but the questions are going to be out there.
Yep.
We'll see. You mentioned Gabe Landeskog. That is another question that is going to be asked really all throughout the season. So let's talk about that. We'll do that next. Let's hear from Amazon Fire TV. And did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? You can turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass Unlimited with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 to the incredibly awesome game Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your TV. So head to amazon.com/Fire TV locked on to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K second generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max first and second generation, and the Fire TV Cube third generation. Go check that out today. And we're also brought to you by Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed, because when it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. Now you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to indeed.com/lockedon right now and support Locked On Avalanche by saying you heard about Indeed on this very podcast. Terms and conditions apply. If you're hiring, Indeed is all you need. All right. Yes. The other question that will be asked all season long is Gabe Landeskog. And it's like, yeah, he came back, epic moment, one of the best in Avalanche history. But for me, it's like he played great, played great. But you're not out of the woods. And we always go back to the Bo Byram thing when he was having those concussions, and every hit he took, you're just like looking like, and then at the next morning after a game, you're just like, okay, are we getting, even if he didn't have like take an egregious hit, just concussions are, they always find their way back. You're like, oh no, is he on the injured reserve now? You just watched it with just some concern because of the history. And the Landeskog history is well documented, obviously, for the past 3 years. Came back, played very well. And now the question is, can he survive the rigors of an 82-game hockey season? And sure, as if he can keep playing and plays day after day after day, like I think just naturally the thoughts in my head will slowly go away. But when a guy misses 3 years for an injury that nobody's ever come back from, he's at the beginning stages of it still. What do you think? Like that is a question that will definitely be there all year long.
I think honestly, and this question there's another layer to it as well. There's honestly no winning for Gabe Landeskog here, because I hate it for him, but we're all going to be watching him. Yes, like the Bo Byram, like every hit you're kind of wincing, tensing up. You don't know. You're going to do the same for every turn for Gabe Landeskog. But if he does give you all 82 games, at least 80, 75, then you're going to
70.
7. Yeah. Give us half the season. Now, going back to this press conference we just had, they've already telegraphed the cap is tight. Is this worth $7 million?
It depends on what he gives you.
That's the other thing. Like,
yeah,
if he survives, is this $7 million worth of, like, for whatever you're getting out of the season? Because then that question comes up. So you're watching it two different ways. Like, after the new and exciting and the story kind of like the return wears off a little bit, like this is his first opening night in Ball Arena in how many thousand days, and you do all that stuff. And then once you get like game 16 of the season against the Utah Mammoth, and you're just like, it's on a Thursday at 6:00, and you're just like, yep, hockey's back. There's Landeskog. And then once all that new factor wears off, is that $7 million worth out there skating on the ice where you couldn't re-sign player A, player B? The Mikko thing that everybody likes to remind me every stat that he has got in the playoffs, is it worth not having Mikko because now we have Gabe? That question will start being asked deeper into the season.
I mean, if you get what you got from him in the 5 games that he came back, yes, that $7 million is
absolutely
a steal.
yeah.
But you're right. Like it's the NHL season is a grind. And this is where the how the NHL announces like injuries, like will just be under the microscope because guys get dinged up. And if Gabe Landeskog is out with an LBI, we don't know what the LBI, everybody's mind is going to go right there, right to the knee. And it could be anything waist down. But it's not going to matter. So, I mean, he could get a little bumps and bruises and need to miss a couple games. And if it doesn't say UBI, if it says UBI, you're like, oh, okay. Thank God. It's just his brain.
Oh, fine.
No problem. But if it's LBI, you're like, oh no, is this the end? So, and that's kind of unfair, but that's just the way it is. That's how hockey does it, and I understand that. But we'll see. Like, because you could be watching, and again, like you said, it could be game 16, could be game 32, could be game 48. And like we're saying with Byram, you wake up the next day and he's not feeling good. And that could it creep up at any point, this knee thing again? Sure. So that's definitely something to be watching all season long.
And you can't sit there and tell me that you won't do that with every LBI, because every time Nuke missed time this year, there was that, what do you think's really going on with Nuke?
Oh, you're right.
Oh, yeah. So I don't want to hear no, we trust Landy, he came out. No.
Yep.
No. I've seen you. I'm here all season long.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up one. Someone asked something about maybe this is, I don't know if this is like a burning question, but it'll linger around. You brought this up too to me. How long does the Mikko hangover last?
I'm already over it.
You are.
Yeah, he's in Duchesne level with me. I don't sit.
I know, but so that's why I asked the question, because like Duchesne still gets booed every time he touches the puck.
Yeah, but I'm not tracking Duchesne's stats. Like,
I'm not. Yeah,
I put him in public enemy number 1. Hey, guess what? Hey, Avs fans that are very mad about Mikko, why are we not complaining about Erod winning a Stanley Cup in Florida?
Dude, that's different though, man.
I mean, but it's still like
that's a different. Erod played 1 season for the Avs, and
he won a cup. He was success, but like Mikko, that's a whole lot of contract drama, and nobody knows the true story. And now you're seeing he wanted to go to Dallas so he could stick it to Colorado,
which is just ridiculous.
Like nobody knows the true story here, and it feels like it's just a goofy WWE type narrative on this. So I'm putting all of this sideshow out of my mind. Like Duchesne, he did the same thing. Like, I had Avalanche PJs growing up. I loved Avalanche, and then wanted to be traded to a contender. So
yeah, that's why that one stings. It's different scenarios. Like Mikko wasn't guessing to get traded. Duchesne was. So, and like you said, like grew up an Avs fan. Like, okay, the team that you grew up loving drafted you, and then you wanted out when things got a little rocky. Instead of being part of the problem, or being part of the solution, you wanted out. And that's why I don't do it when he touches the puck, or like I don't have any animosity towards him. He had to do what he thought was best for him, whatever. I get it why fans still are like that. With Mikko, he was on his way to just sainthood in Avalanche world. And although
he didn't show up last year in the Dallas series where we got pounced.
I know. Like if they win it all this year, Dallas, it's going to hang around for a little while, because he just got there, he got there late, right at the trade deadline, and then goes on to win another cup with them. That's going to sting even more. And they bounced you to get there. If they don't win it, like, okay, good. Dallas doesn't get nice things
But-
either, and I think going into next year makes it a little bit easier. At least you can punt that story down the road a little bit. But no, man, I'm not bitter towards Mikko Rantanen. I'm just bitter towards the whole thing.
Well, let's not get too ESPN about it, because like the first 4 games of the Avs Star Series, Mikko was a ghost.
It was,
and everybody's like, "Oh, look at that! The Avs are winning this trade. Look at that! He's a shell of nothing." And then he has back-to-back hat tricks. And everybody's like, "I can't believe we let such an incredible player go." Like, you can't have it both ways.
No, right.
So, and he was very ghost the entire time he was in Dallas up until his recent hot streak. And you don't know how long it's going to go if he reverts back to what it was. Everybody calm down.
You do have to see how it ends up. I know we like
Yes.
to go right to the end result, but look, like you said, like he wasn't doing much when he got there. Was it one of the things where it's like just needed to get more acclimated? Maybe, probably, but the change in just the Dallas fan base, they all coming out now saying like, "Oh, we never said that." Yeah. You did. We got receipts. But yeah, no, I think it will stick around. It definitely will. I think you're an outlier in that it's not affecting you already, but
I've been burned before by players on this team. So.
Yeah, but it's just a different scenario with him. It really is. So, and then if they win it, that's just even more so. So we'll see how it all plays out. So all right, we'll get our last break in here, and we got time for one more. Avalanche going to be celebrating year 30 next season. Ooh, Kyle's, if you're watching on YouTube, he just gave you a little precursor of what we're going to be talking about. Stick with us. Let's hear it from FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. And FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. And are you putting money on the New York Knickerbockers, baby? Look at that. I didn't watch a second of the game. I woke up the next morning and I just checked my sports app. I saw that they won by a point.
Hey, 2-0 against the Celtics in the series, playing Saturday.
Man,
the Nuggets 1-1 in their series. They still have some life. They could do it.
I mean, how could you get $200 in bonus bets if you get your first $5 bet that wins? I'm putting that on the Knicks, especially going home.
Let's go
MSG
and New York.
Come on, people. So if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com. Place your first $5 bet, and if it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right. Yeah, like we said, the Avalanche was celebrating year 30. 30 years old, man. Is it time for not I say new uniform? I don't mean like their main one. I don't think that's gonna really ever change. It's time for a third jersey, an updated third jersey. Is not Kyle's got the one. I got one right over there myself. I got a Varlamov one actually for a third jersey, believe it or not. Yeah. And you heard a little bit of this like when the season ended, but nothing really kind of stuck. But I'm thinking it's time. I think the Avs really like for your 30th, you got to do something more than just a logo that goes on. Like you did it for the 25th. I feel like for the 25th, you just had that logo. But I feel like when you have those, like even if it's every 5 years, when you get to those like big moments and milestone years, do something different with the third jersey. Perfect opportunity to do it, even if it's just a one-off. I don't care, but get rid of what you currently have, put that on the shelf for a year, and make your third jersey, which the Avs always wear at home games against division rivals, make that something fresh, something new for year 30. Go for it.
It needs to be the Quebec Nordiques, Fleur-de-Lis. Even take that same color scheme
Mm-hmm.
Make that in the fleur-de-lis. Take the current burgundy and blue and make that fleur-de-lis. Don't go reverse retro looking. Like, stay away from that. But that's where it should go.
I would want, like, I think it makes sense to kind of honor like Quebec and the Nordiques when you're doing these 25, 30 and beyond seasons.
Yeah, because this was a 20-year.
That one that has a 20. Is that when they changed over to it?
Yeah.
So that's been out for 5 years now, or no, 10 years now. Jeez,
10 years.
That's way too long. That's way too long. So, and I know like the people of Quebec would hate it, but like take that color scheme, take that baby blue and white, and just do that with an Avalanche and mix that in with the Avalanche logo and stuff like that. That would be my bank account would be depleted if they did something like that.
I thought about that, but what if they play the Utah Mammoth? They're in division.
Well, Utah would be in white, and the if you did your third jersey is mainly the blue one, and it wouldn't.
Is that mountain blue? Is that Utah mountain blue or salt white?
It's baby powder blue is what it is. Even though baby powder is not blue, that's what we're calling it, because apparently rocks are black now, and only black. I thought rocks had a lot of different colors. My daughter collects gems and rocks. They're not all black. There's a lot of different colors. So why they went black. Black Rock is a good Stephen King
sounds like a Flintstones character.
But I think this is and hey, we love uniforms, we love jerseys. I think the players do too.
Yeah.
And you get them in new threads during those games, maybe it picks them up a little bit more. Who knows? Never really know.
Yeah. They should go and go Denver Broncos. Do a nod to them.
I like those. Like we see those AI, so wow.
Like 30 years in Denver, like do a whole like tribute to like Denver.
Or those wild Colorado Rocky jerseys have been what do they call those things? Like what are those like third jerseys that they have? Those are wild. Oh, you know what they should do?
They don't exist.
The old Denver Nuggets.
Oh, the rainbow skyline.
Yeah, the skyline. Do something like that. I mean, they're never going to do this stuff because they want it to be their own. But
third jersey needs to be the Rocky Mountain Extreme.
Oh, there you go. A throwback to what it could have been.
Yeah,
that's a great. I don't think they'll. I don't know. I think they want to remove themselves from that as much as possible. Can you imagine if they actually went with that? Thank you, Adrian David.
They're almost the Colorado Cougars.
Was that the one when Rocky Mountain Extreme folded? It was almost that. What was the other one that was voted on? I can't remember what it was.
I would
might have been the Cougars.
I would love a Cougars jersey.
Yeah, a lot of roads you can go down with that one. But I think it's time. Yeah, it's time. So let's see something new, something fresh. Be fun, and it'd be interesting to see if they keep that around. I mean, if you're doing it every 10 years,
it better be good.
And it should be. So, all right, everyone, that is going to wrap it up for today and for this week. So we got through a week of no Avalanche hockey. So pat yourself on the back. We got many more to go. So we're going to be doing a lot of fun. Like we always do our grades and stuff like that. So we'll occupy your time like we always do. So be sure to tune in on Monday. We'll be back for a fresh episode and a fresh week of episodes. So thank you for tuning in and making this one your first listen of the day. He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday. You made it through 24 hours. Where Sidney Crosby's that much closer to being with the Colorado Avalanche and in that sweet new Nordiques jersey, hopefully.